Okay, now there are some objections to limited atonement. For example, someone will say, "What about John 3:16? Doesn't that say whosoever, whosoever believes in him? Doesn't that leave things open-ended?" Well, in John 3:16, if you actually read it in the original Greek, it says, "For God loved the world in this way." It doesn't say God loved the world so much. Like every human being in the world ever to live, God loved them so much. What it actually says is God loved the world in this way. And this is how he loved the world, that he gave his only begotten or unique son, that all the believing, that's really what it says in Greek, all the believing would not perish or but would have everlasting life. So when you phrase it that way, the way that it's actually phrased in the original language, you can really see how it's not just this open-ended category that anyone can jump into. It's God loved the world in this particular way. This is how he loved the world, and all the believing. Well, that's those who believe. That's not just some open-ended category. Um, Someone else will say, does this make evangelism pointless? Well, no, it doesn't. And the apostles didn't think that either. So, one thing that the apostles were always doing is they were evangelizing. And yet, Luke in Acts chapter 13, Luke, who was a companion of the apostle Paul, wrote in Acts 13:48, he said, "As many as were appointed to eternal life believed." So, Luke is um, is referencing the fact that some people are appointed, predestined to eternal life, and yet, even in light of that knowledge, the apostles still evangelize. So the idea that Jesus has a particular people, died for a particular people, will save a particular people, that shouldn't limit our evangelism. That should actually empower our evangelism, because every single person for whom Christ died will be saved.